There is something your dog does every single day because they love you. Not despite loving you, because of it. It's not the greeting at the door. It's not the way they find you in every room. It's not the stare or the lean or the fluffy toy they bring you or the way they press against your leg in the quiet of the evening. No, it's something much quieter than all of that. Something most owners never notice, never name, and never fully understand until someone like me points at it and says, that right there is what love looks like when it has no language. And when you see it, when you understand what your dog is actually doing and why, it will be the most beautiful and the most heartbreaking thing you have learned about the animal who shares your life. Because the saddest thing your dog does when they love you is something they can't stop doing, something they will continue to do every day until their last day, something that costs them more than you have ever known. And this is what it is. The first point might surprise you if you've sometime wondered if your dog can actually read your mind. Point 1. Your dog learns your leaving signals. Your dog has memorized every signal that means you're about to leave, and they live with that knowledge every single day. The learning itself, the fact that they did it at all, is the first heartbreak. It began without you noticing. The first time you picked up your keys and left, your dog's brain did what dogs' brain do. It looked for patterns. When you pick up your keys or bag or put on a particular coat or shoes, the order in which you do things in the morning is different from the order on days that you stay home. Dogs, researchers have found, are amongst the most pattern-sensitive animals. Dr. Alexandra Horowitz, whose cognitive research at Barnard College has illuminated so much of what we now understand about the inner life of dogs. She documented just how early and how precisely dogs begin mapping their owners' routines. Within weeks of arriving in a new home, most dogs have already begun assembling a detailed predictive model of their owner's behaviour. And they did this because they love you, because you matter so much to them that their brain allocated significant resources to understanding you, to anticipating you, to preparing for you and knowing in advance what you're about to do. And what they learned in the process of all that loving attention is that you leave. Every morning, regularly, predictably, they learned the exact sequence. They know before you've finished your coffee whether today is a leaving day. They know by the shoes or the bag, and they know by the energy in the room that it's different, subtly but unmistakably different from the energy on the days that you stay. And they have known it silently every morning and said nothing. Because the learning that came from loving you also taught them that there's nothing to be done. You leave and they wait, and you come back. And they have learned to hold all three of these facts inside a heart that was not built for any of them. Now, the second point might make you feel a little sad, but I promise it will change how you interact with your dog forever. Point 2. Your dog shrinks themselves for you. When your dog senses you are stressed, overwhelmed, or simply not available, they make themselves smaller, and the effort that costs them is invisible to almost every owner who receives it. You've had hard days. Days when you came home, put your bag down, sat on the sofa, and stared into space. Days when you were irritable or distracted or so deep inside your own difficulty that the world outside barely registered. And on those days, your dog noticed. They always notice. And on those days, if you think back, your dog did something specific. They came close, but not too close. They settled near you, but did not demand. They were present, available, watching. But they didn't bring the ball, and they didn't paw at you, or ask for a walk, or the game, or the attention that on other days they might have asked for without hesitation. They read you and they adjusted. They made themselves smaller so that you had more room. Dr. Attila Andix, a neuroscientist at Eötvös-Loránd University, whose brain imaging research on dogs has produced some of the most significant findings in the field. She's demonstrated that dogs process human emotional vocalizations in a part of the brain that is structurally analogous, and I can never say this word, analogous to the human emotional processing center. They don't just hear the tone of your voice, they feel it in a neurological sense that is closer to human emotional empathy than anything previously documented in a non-human species. So your dog feels your hard days, not metaphorically, but neurologically. And on those days, instead of bringing their own needs to you, the needs that are real, that are always there, that don't disappear because you're struggling, they politely fold them away. They put them somewhere quiet. They decide without words, without deliberation, or any expectation of recognition that today is not a day to ask. And they do this because they love you, and they do it alone. Now, the third point explains exactly why we love our dogs so much, and I'm sure you will instantly recognize how it impacts your relationship with your four-legged friend. Point 3. Your dog forgives you before you have finished being wrong. Your dog has never once held a grudge. And the speed at which they forgive you, the absolute, unconditional, immediate nature of it, it's not a simple thing. It's one of the most demanding things that love can do. You've raised your voice at your dog, perhaps more than once, perhaps in a moment of frustration that had nothing to do with them. They were simply there in the wrong place at the wrong moment, and the impatience that belonged somewhere else landed on them instead. And your dog flinched a little, or they shrank, or they left the room. And then minutes later, sometimes seconds, they came back. Tail low at first, perhaps, then a little higher, a nose extended towards your hand, an eye checking your face. And then, when your face was soft again, the full return. The settling beside you, as if nothing had happened, as if the rupture had already been repaired before you had even thought to repair it. Dr. Mark Bekoff, the evolutionary biologist at the University of Colorado, Boulder, whose decades of research on animal emotional lives have challenged and permanently changed how scientists understand non-human experience. He's written extensively about reconciliation behaviour in social animals, the capacity to repair a relationship after conflict, to move past rupture back to connection. It's not universal. It requires both the motivation and the neurological capacity to prioritize the bond over the injury. And your dog has both, in extraordinary measure. What the research shows is that dogs do not carry forward the emotional residue of negative interactions the way that we humans do. They don't rehearse grievances. They don't build cases against you. They don't decide based on accumulation of evidence that you are less trustworthy than you were yesterday. They meet you every time as if you are the best version of yourself, as if the last hard moment never happened, as if the only thing that's real is the fact of you, right now, in this room, available to be loved. That's not naivety. This is a choice their nervous system makes again and again on the side of the bond. It's the most generous thing anyone can ever do for you. And it happens so quietly, so consistently, so without fanfare that most people never notice it's happening at all. Point 4. Your dog ages faster than you do. Your dog is aging faster, and they're doing it beside you, matching your life as closely as they can for as long as they're able. The disparity in your timelines is the quiet grief at the center of every human-dog relationship. But your dog has no idea that it exists. A well-lived human life spans 8 or 9 decades, whereas a dog's life only spans 1. The arithmetic of that gap is something all dog owners carry, usually somewhere below the surface, occasionally breaking through in quiet moments, always there. Your dog does not carry that grief. They have no concept of their own lifespan, no awareness of the disparity, and no anticipatory grief about the ending. They live entirely in the present tense, in this room, this moment, with their person. They don't mourn the years they won't have. They spend every one of the years they do have in a state of complete, present, uncomplicated devotion. Dr. Jessica Pierce, in her work on the ethics and experience of companion animal aging, describes what she calls the gift of the present tense, the way a dog's temporal experience, so different from our own, creates a kind of intensity of presence that humans can only approximate in their best moments of mindfulness. Your dog isn't capable of nostalgia. They're not capable of dread. Every morning they wake up beside you, it's just simply morning. Every walk is simply a walk. Every meal, every game, every quiet evening on the sofa, simply this one moment, complete in itself, not shadowed by the ones that came before or the ones that will not come. Your dog gives you 10 years of that, of full, present, unclouded companionship. And then they give you the last thing they have left to give, the particular grace of a creature who does not fight the ending, who does not rage at the unfairness of the timeline, who goes, as they lived, in a complete state of trust. They trust that you will be there. They trust that the person who has been their entire world will be the last thing they feel. And that trust is the last gift. And your dog gives that to you completely. Now, the last point will again prove to you why we love our dogs so much. Point 5. They would do it all again. The saddest thing your dog does when they love you is also, when you understand it fully, the most extraordinary. They choose this, the waiting, the shrinking, the forgiving, the accelerated years, and they would choose it again every time. There's a study that animal welfare research returned to when they want to understand what dogs value most. Of course, it's not complicated. Dogs were given a choice between different rewards: food, toys, praise from a stranger, and time with their owner. The study, conducted across multiple research groups and replicated internationally, consistently produced the same result. Most dogs chose their owner over food and even over play, over the attention of an unfamiliar person who was warm and generous with them, maybe had sausages. They chose the particular, specific, irreplaceable person that they were bonded to, every time, without hesitation. Dr. Gregory Burns, a neuroscientist at Emory University, who pioneered the use of MRI brain scanning in awake, unrestrained dogs, found in his imaging research that the caudate nucleus, the part of the brain associated with positive anticipation and reward, activated more reliably and more powerfully in response to the owner's scent than to food. The owner was not just preferred, the owner was neurologically primary. Your dog didn't stumble into loving you. They didn't love you by default because you were there and they had no other option. They love you with the full weight of a nervous system that chose you, that lights up for you, that organizes itself around you, and that would light up again for you tomorrow and the day after and the day after and every day remaining. The waiting is real. The shrinking is real. The forgiveness and the accelerated years and the cost of all that learning and loving, all of it is real. And if your dog can know all of it in advance, every separation, every misunderstanding, every hard day that their needs were unmet. The research says that they would walk through the door again. They would find you. They would always find you. In conclusion, the saddest thing your dog does when they love you is simply this. They love you more than they can ever show you, in a language you are only just beginning to learn, across a lifespan that is over far too quickly, without ever asking you to love them back in equal measure. They memorize the signs that you're leaving, and they wait. They feel your hard days and make themselves smaller so that you have room. They forgive you before you've finished being wrong, and they age faster than you do and give you every year without complaint. And through all of it, through every cost that loving you has ever asked of them, they have never once regretted their choice. You are the best thing that has ever happened to your dog. Not because you're perfect, not because you always got it right, but because you are theirs. Because, in the specific, irreducible language of a dog's devotion, there is no category for the person you love that is less than everything. You are everything. You have always been everything. And the only sad thing, the only truly sad thing, is that they will never be able to tell you. Thank you for listening. This is Dog Decoded. I'm Jan, a dog behaviourist. Constantly lifetime passion of dogs. If you like this subject, please subscribe to Dog Decoded, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye-bye.